Hey there, and welcome to A Well-Rounded Life, the podcast, a space for creative entrepreneurs seeking an intentional life and biz filled with grace, passion, and purpose. I'm your host, Romero. I'm a mama, wife, dessert fanatic, and on the ultimate mission to get you closer to your idea of what it means to live a well-rounded life. Right here is where you'll find curated resources, quick tips, and relatable stories, no matter what season of life you're in. So hang out with me for a bit and let's dive in. Hey there, friends, and welcome back to the show. If it's your first time here, I'm your hostess, Jamira, and I couldn't be more honored that you are hanging out with me today. And since you're tuned in, do me a favor and send me a screenshot and tag at Coach4Creatives so that I can say hi and spread the love. So guys, check this out. You are in for a treat. I have a special guest joining me today that I am super excited about because today I'm chatting with my longtime friend, Kathy Romero, and we are chatting all things living well-rounded, the importance of staying positive, and how gratitude can be such a game changer in all that we do. And for those that don't know Kathy, you will soon understand. You will understand how she is a force to be reckoned with and continues to be sought after by the best of the best. She also has a huge following of creatives, moms, and biz bosses that turn to her for advice, coaching, inspiration, and guidance. So before I bring Kathy to the mic, I'm going to read her official bio. Kathy Romero is the founder and lead planner of Kathy Romero Weddings and Events. With over 20 years of experience in the event world, Kathy has planned and overseen some of the most elaborate installations, weddings, corporate events, and social galas for a client list that includes celebrities, business tycoons, socialites, and royal families. She is the former CEO and head planner for Preston Bailey Designs, where she worked with Preston on some of his most notable projects since 2012. Known for her unique ability to provide clients with concierge-style luxury planning while maintaining a strong professional approachability, Kathy has developed a worldwide client base, resulting in exceptional event execution on a global scale. Her love for design, fashion, art, and style has positioned her as a lifestyle expert and a source of inspiration for many. Being a high-profile event planner, brand strategist, and business coach is her superpower. Her strategies are based on nearly 25 years of business experience and more than 1,000 successfully executed events in over 15 countries. I told y'all, she is pretty amazing. And with all of that being said, let's welcome Kathy Romero to the show. Hello, my love, and welcome to the show. So, Kathy, for those that may not know you, will you please introduce yourself to our well-rounders?
Hey, I'm Kathy Romero, the CEO and founder for Kathy Romero Events. It's a small company that does big things out of New Jersey. We've been planning events for approximately 24 years or so, and we execute and vision amazing events all over the world.
That you do. If you are not familiar with Kathy, you must be living under a rock because, as she said, throughout the years, she has produced just jaw-dropping, stunning, innovative events. And so it's just always great to follow her Instagram and see all the amazingness that comes out of Kathy Romero events. And so, Kathy, you've been in the game, killing it for years, and you only keep getting better. How did you get started in the weddings and event space?
I sort of got here serendipitously, right? It wasn't really planned. I used to work for a corporate agency that hosted events for, big mucky mucks in the corporations in the United States and also in Europe. And then I slowly wanted to get interested in the event side of things. I wasn't an event. I was actually a finance major. And it just found me. Like most people, I feel like events, the events world, the events industry, it finds you. And, when you have that je ne sais quoi in your DNA, that's exactly what happens.
Yes, it's interesting because like you said, it's sometimes for us creatives, and especially in the wedding space, there's just always that one moment or that one thing that makes you think, you know what, I could do this, or I want to do something else besides what I'm doing right now. And I know that's what happened for me. Like, you know what, I can actually make money planning people's weddings. And this is,
Yeah.
you think it's easy, and then years in, you're like, it's the hardest job ever. So,
Well, yeah, I actually started in corporate, like I mentioned, and that's where I grew up. That's where I was baptized, I say. And
mhm.
um, I did that for about 14 years, and then when the recession came in 2008, is when I actually decided to launch my own business. And I think that's when you and I met around that time. I want to say
Yeah.
2008, 2009.
Yeah, we've known each other, I tell people, for over a decade at this point.
Yay.
Yeah, it's been a minute, and you've always been such a great mentor and friend to me. So forever grateful for that. But
Listen, I've not been your mentor. I think we've grown up together in this industry. And I want to say that, like I met you right at the same time when yes, I had experience in the event world from the corporate side, but
mhm.
when it came to actually having your own company, I think we started pretty much around the same time.
Yeah, I think we did. We had a similar journey. We both decided around the same time. We were just talking about this, to brand our businesses so that we could take it to the next level. And then it just, life
We
just
did.
happened. Yeah, yeah, we really did. That was a turning point. And just to cheer each other on and watch each other grow, it's just a blessing to have people in, the industry that you can call friends and support, even when you do similar jobs. I think that's so
Absolutely.
important.
I think that's always been the case for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, what have you found to be most challenging when you decided to grow your small business? Also, you are a wife, you're an amazing mom, sister, friend, all the things. So, what do you feel has been the most challenging juggling all those things?
Yeah, I think it's really defining yourself and creating boundaries. That's very hard for me because I think we were talking about this. When I turn on, I'm on, and I just, those creative juices never really stop flowing. And I feel as if that's the hardest part of this, of the industry. And obviously, when you really love what you do and you're passionate about it, there's always something new and there's always something more that you feel like you can give. That's actually the hardest for me.
hmm Yeah, a lot of creatives, we get excited about an idea. We
Yes.
want to launch it right away, but we know it's 1,000 steps, right? But I do love how you said defining yourself, which is so important, and then also creating those boundaries so that people know, like, this is the time that I'm working on these things. Don't bother me. This is important. But it also goes on the other side with your clients, because you are very hands on with your kids. I need to spend this time with my husband, my kids, and you're a very good example of self care. You work out, you are out there doing things that bring you joy. So I think that's great as well.
Yeah, we need that. We all need that to get centered.
Yes, I'm not like, I know when it's funny, when I first met you, you were like, yeah, I'm going to yoga or Pilates or whatever. And I'm like, whew, tell me how it is when you get back. And we were at a conference. You were ready for all the sessions, doing your yoga and doing all this. And I'm like, mm-mm.
Girl, I have been on that journey for so long, and it's just a part of who I am. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because sometimes I'm like, when did I start this? And it's like, it's been over a decade that I'm a yogi
Yeah.
and that I've been meditating. And so that's great. Thanks for reminding me.
No, it's been a minute, because I always was like, maybe one day, maybe I'll do it. I'm still there, like, maybe one day.
Mhm.
And so, what advice do you have for someone who is trying to manage their booming client list, their home life? Things are changing and shifting. So, what advice would you have for someone that's trying to handle it all?
I think, the advice that I have for people, especially in this particular climate, is to really do what they know and what they understand.
hmm
I feel as if we can all venture pivot, this word that everybody's utilizing, with their true love of whatever art it is, through pivoting. But I also understand that when you actually cultivate what really is at the core of what you love and what you're passionate about, when you have time like the one that we've been given or afforded, around this era, then you can actually develop it into something so much bigger. And I feel as if people need to focus and to not want to do too many things at one time,
hmm
because I'm actually guilty of that. I'm that creative that's always thinking about something new, but this era has actually allowed me to just focus and zero in on my strengths.
I love that. I love it. I love it. I agree with you. Like COVID has taught me that even though we need to pivot intentionally and pivot into your area of genius, your zone of genius. So if there's something that you are great at, maybe pour more into that so that you can stand out in what feels like a saturated market sometimes. Instead of having your hands in 1,000 things, kill it at one thing, then maybe move on to the next thing.
Yes, I feel the same way. You said it better than me.
And so another thing that I love about you is that you are always someone that is so positive. You have a very positive influence on social media and in real life, because I know you in real life. So how do you keep such a positive attitude, especially during uncertain times?
Listen, I know it's hard. I know it's difficult to sort of like always be in your grace. You know what I say to people is like try to stay in your grace. And I've seen firsthand what life is like, around me. I feel as if I have always been that person that it wasn't something that was taught. It's almost as if it's innate. I want to believe that I was born like this, where I see something and I don't think that it's impossible. And it is just a gift that I've had for a very long time. But now as an adult, I've been able to see, the importance of just being authentic about what you want to do, doing what you love, enjoying yourself while you're doing it, because there's that one slice, of time when you probably won't be able to. And I say this because I have, I'm the caretaker for my mom, and she had a stroke a few years ago. And to see her go through that has actually allowed me to become even more positive than I was, if that's even possible. To see her go through that and to become just a shell of a, and who is intentional about their state of being,
Mm-hmm.
that has allowed me to really go deeper into just happiness and joy, trying to find that.
Yeah, when you made a great point there, like when you have to take care of someone you love and things are not the same, you have a choice to be positive, to have that woe is me attitude, to try to make the best of it. There are definitely options. And so you can choose to be positive, to be optimistic, or you can choose to just have that negative energy, which we know doesn't make anything any better at all. How does the practice of gratitude play a role in your everyday life?
Oh, it's the center of it, It's definitely every single day. Listen, I woke up this morning, 5 a.m. in the morning, and I started with my meditation. After my meditation, I did some journaling. And then after that, I went downstairs, started breakfast for my mom. And then I sit here and I do my uploads in the morning, right? Where I sort of like write down everything that I'm going to do during the day, because I'm a time blocker. Like I block time. And I'll tell you what, every time I am able to wake up, the first thing, G, that I do when I wake up in the morning is to touch myself first. I touch myself, literally do this. And I say thank you, because I'm alive, because I can move, because I can see, and so just starting my day off with that particular sense of gratitude has always been key for me and has actually helped me through a lot.
Mm. No, that is powerful. Like you literally before your feet can hit the ground, you can just say 2 words, thank you. And that's how you start
Totally.
the day. I
Yeah. I
want
make sure I'm alive first, right? Because I touch myself. I touch myself. I'm like, yes,
I made
amen. I say,
it.
okay, thank you.
I'm here. I love that. No, it's something I think that's genius because it's setting the tone, setting the vibe for the day. That is so good. And so you wear a lot of hats.
Absolutely.
You wear a lot of hats. You wear a lot of hats, as we mentioned. So how do you make time for yourself, which is a struggle for a lot of us moms, but how do you do that?
Well, I mentioned earlier, I wake up really early. You know, 5 o'clock this morning, I was up and I was doing my thing. And I know sometimes it's hard to get up at 5, but I don't get up every day at 5. But the days that I can, and I'm trying to actually make that a thing, I just realized how much better I am, how well I function. And I am a time blocker. And if I'm able to block the time, some days I overdo it. Like yesterday, I worked until almost 10 p.m. because I was so excited about a project. Um, and most of the times I feel like I work a lot, but I try to slice out as much as possible. I'm not perfect. It's a work in progress. I think that a lot of us who are solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, especially in this COVID era, have had to put a lot more load on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I can't say like a lot of people, have said like, I've been doing less or doing this. I've been really fortunate that I have not been doing less. Um, and so therefore I've still had to continue to put together events, whether they're corporate or social, plus all of my coaching and workshops and things like that. And that keeps me crazy busy.
Yes, because they're amazing and you definitely coach and mentor, aspiring planners or planners who have been in the game for a while and they're looking to elevate. So it's important, especially now during this season, to consume the content. We talked about this as well. Consume the content, take those courses, learn, ask questions so that you can come out of this pandemic better, stronger, bigger, if that is what your goals are. And so, one question that a friend had asked me, I was like, oh, I'm chatting with Kathy. They wanted to know, back in the day, because right now we're not doing as much traveling, you definitely traveled the world. You were a destination planner. How did you manage that with your family and just all the other things you have going on?
Yeah, one of the things, G, that I learned about myself is that was the least, that was the part that I liked the least about what I was doing. And it's interesting because a lot of people love the destination weddings and things like that, but having to travel so much and having to do so much, and because I wasn't traveling just in the United States, I was traveling internationally,
Mm-hmm.
which literally meant that I was away from my family for days and sometimes weeks. So it wasn't great. It wasn't one of the better times. And one of the reasons why I decided that I would not continue to be Preston CEO was because there was so much traveling to Asia and to the Middle East and everywhere else in Europe. When I was working with Preston, I realized that that wasn't something that I wanted to do, to be away from the family for such a long time. And while it looks amazing and I'm grateful that it happened in my life, it taught me a lot, great experiences. It probably was one of those points in your career when you're thinking like, do I really want to do this? And I feel as if it's an opportunity for me to actually tell people, yeah, it's a great thing to do, but if your thread and your center is more of a family thing, it's harder to do that while you're trying to raise your kids.
Yeah. I think you make a great point that people see and they think glamour and jet setting and whatever. But let's call a spade a spade. It's very challenging when you have kids that are in school in your home and then you have to get on the plane and it's hard. And so it's you did it
You did.
internationally, but even thinking about the weekends as a planner or someone in this space, you are now away from their games. Sometimes you miss some of their sporting events and you miss some school activities because we would work weekends and that's hard. So Kathy, what advice can you offer aspiring creatives who are trying to launch in the middle of challenging, uncertain times?
I think I'd say the same thing that I'd say to a creative trying to launch in a regular time, and that is to just be authentic, be as authentic as you can, because while we see other people in the industry that look the part and act the part and everything else, if the part is not for you, then don't play the part. You know what I mean? Like, that's usually my advice to creatives that are starting or people. I'm like, don't play the part, be the part. So if it's your part, you're going to be it and you're going to do it well. And it's just going to turn out to be spectacular. But if you're trying to play the part, that's where I feel people get stuck and where they get lost, because it doesn't become easy. It becomes harder.
Oh, that's such a great point. Like, just do what feels natural, do the things you're good at.
Yeah.
You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You don't have to do it their way. You don't have to do it at all. If there's some things you want to change or shift or take away or add, that's okay as well. Like authenticity. Absolutely. Yes. And you've always been a person that has stayed in your lane, for lack of a better term, meaning you've just marched to the beat of your own drum. You don't care what everybody else is doing. You
Yeah.
don't care what the trends are. You're creating the trends. That's what, like,
You know
you
what? I realize that it's hard. It's hard to do that. And sometimes you're seen as, I don't know, stuck up or whatever words you people want to attribute to you, because you decided that you're not going to be part of the clique, that you're going to be part of a whole. And so that's really what I wanted to be, was part of the industry, so that we could continue to help each other and elevate each other. And if I could elevate you, I would, and I'm sure that people like you, and that's why there's so many amazing friends that we've done, the people that have rocked it from the beginning, right? Let's say, if you look at us, we're still the same people.
right.
And most of us have actually just grown in terms of our capacity and our experience, but we're the same. And that's
Exactly.
actually really remarkable to me.
I love that. That's a great point. The people, I look at the people that we kind of grew up with, and they are the same people. They've done amazing, big
Yeah.
things, but they remain true to who they are, their values, their core, which I think lends to why they are super successful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, Kathy, knowing what you know now, what do you wish you would have known about entrepreneurship when you decided to take the leap into this crazy world?
That there's so much hustle.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just keeping it 1,000. um, if I'd have known, because I had a cushy, job in corporate, that it was going to be so hard to not catch fire, like I say. It's just to keep that momentum going, right? Because you can get it started, but to actually continue to create value year after year after year, and in addition to creating value, being somebody that's actually creating a sustainable business, that's tough. I mean, you got to have thick skin to do that.
Yes, but the point that you just made that I love is to continue to create value every
Yeah.
year, every week, every month, showing up, creating value, and doing your part to elevate the industry. That's hard, very hard.
Yeah, it is, man. But it's actually a thing. And when you make that your thing and you make that your priority, that's how you're going to stay around, beyond the decades.
Right, right. I love that. And so, Kathy, as you know, on this show, we do not believe in the word balance, hence the title of the show, A Well Rounded Life. You're super family oriented, you run a booming business empire, and you do amazing things daily. But I want to know, what is your definition of living well rounded?
My definition of living well rounded, you want to know what it is? Being able to wake up in the morning, okay? Being able to know where I am, knowing that my kids are healthy, right? And able, and
Mhm.
that they can keep things moving, because now they're like not 2 or 3, right? They're 10, 18, and 25. And the fact that, I can decide what to do at a given point in time.
Mhm.
Listen, that's why we're entrepreneurs. If we decide that we're going to get up at 2 o'clock and take a walk, then that's what we need to do for our bodies. I think
Mhm.
that part of being that word well-rounded means that you get to decide, how long you're going to stay in the chair, how long you're going to allow a client to treat you bad, right? How long you're going to work to get that sale. All of these things are pretty much up to you as an entrepreneur. So you decide. And I think that that's the definition of well-rounded. If you can get up and make those decisions every single day of your life and go to bed feeling good about the decisions that you made, hey, that's it.
Oh, that's a dream. I love that. I love that. I love that. Oh, that's so good. And so what are you most looking forward to in this next season of your life?
Oof, you know what I'm most looking forward to is to continue to create my coaching empire and also to help other creatives understand. What I love about this part about workshops and education and everything else is, and I know you've felt this before too, right? When you're teaching somebody something and when you're giving them the tools to that box and it clicks.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that is the most amazing feeling
You're like mind
you
blown.
can
Yeah.
feel.
No.
I just become so mind blown over the fact that they just grasp the concept, they got it, and now they're going to move forward. You know how good that feels? So for me, I want more of that. I want more of being able to understand what part of, what I'm teaching is actually more valuable, what part of what I'm teaching is needed, where, and how can I actually create not only wealth in a particular client, because that's eventually what we're trying to do. We're trying to make them, help them create their business and run happy lives. We're also trying to allow people to be centered, because that's part of my coaching technique too, is not only to want to understand, how much money you can make, want to understand, how many events you can have in a year or whatever. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, what truly matters is that you understand the value of each thing and that you don't value each thing the same, if that makes sense to you.
Right. No, that's good. I like how you pair the personal side, like you said, making sure you're centered, making sure you're in a good place, as well as the hands-on educational side. So tying all that together is awesome.
I love that. I love that so much. I could cry.
Love it. And on a personal level, what are you saying no to in order to say yes to what matters most in that season that's upcoming?
Negative thoughts. I'm totally saying no to negative thoughts,
Mm.
period.
That's so good. And I know you just blessed somebody with that, because somebody is
Yes.
probably having a day where there's just something's getting in their head
Mm-mm.
and they're beating themselves up about something.
No.
So stop with the negative thoughts.
Stop with the negative thoughts. Do you know that we create about 80% of the crap? I was about to curse right now, but of the crap that we think is actually wrong or is bad or is going to happen. It doesn't even happen. It doesn't come to fruition. It's all in our
Right?
minds.
Right.
Crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Kathy. So that was the hard part of our time together, because this is the part I'm looking forward to, which is our rapid fire segment where people can get to know you on a personal level.
Okay.
So are you ready?
I'm ready now. I'm ready.
All right, Kathy Romero, you're stuck on an island. So, and I want to know, what are 3 things that you must have with you and you cannot take your kids or your husband?
Oh, okay. 3 things would be chapstick. Chapstick. I know that's crazy, but I need chapstick in my life.
Hilarious.
And since this is an island, I'm also gonna say, can we do like sunscreen or something like that? Sunscreen,
Okay.
right? And I'm assuming because I'm stuck on an island, it's not like I need my computer or anything like that. So I'll just say something that can provide some kind of refuge, like a tent or something.
Ooh, so you're practical. That's good. You will
I
not be.
totally am. I mean, the question is on an island. I'm not trying to be bougie on the island, right? Because I can come up with other stuff.
No, you got a tent for the shade. Your lips will be good to go. So that's all that matters.
That's it. The water will come.
Yeah, that's awesome. When you were little and someone were to ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? What was your answer?
I always wanted to be a ballerina.
Really?
Yeah, always. And it was sort of like one of those things that you knew was almost in your head impossible as a kid, but you still kind of wanted to. And I was, number one, I was like so short, like I'm 5 feet nothing.
Right.
And number two, I'm a black, Latina. It's not like you saw a lot of that. I think the only place that I saw that was Fame, and I'm probably dating myself right now because that's where I saw that, like Leroy Johnson, and it was just one of those things that you didn't really see black dancers, and I wanted to be one so bad.
The thing is, knowing you could have been a ballerina. You probably still could be somebody's ballerina because you do not play. So I know you could have made it. You could have made it happen.
Thank you.
So, Kathy, what is your favorite book?
My favorite book is a book that I read when I was 16 years old, and it is such an old book called The Greatest Salesman, and it's by Og Mandino. It's Ogmandino. And when I tell people this, they're like, "What?" It's a really, really old book, but it's an amazing book that, again, being centered and doing the things out of love and believing in yourself. And I think that to have read that book at 16 and then read it again in my 20s, I was like, wow, this is so powerful. And I'm grateful for that book because I know that book actually allowed me to believe in a lot of things. And what's funny is at that time, and I sound like I'm 60 years old, but I'm not, obviously. It was sort of like the equivalent of, what The Alchemist is for everybody, right? To me, that was The Alchemist of the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that's good. That's good. So, what is your favorite food?
Oof. Anything that is healthy, I think,
Yes, healthy
lots of
food.
greens. I am so into Israeli cuisine right now. It's crazy. Like the salads and all of the herbs and the spices and the nuts and the seeds. Oof. I
No,
love all that.
it's all, if you follow Kathy, you'll see on her stories every now and again, she's sharing all of the goodness, all the healthy treats. And I'm like, again, one day I'll do yoga, one day I'll eat healthy. I'll channel my inner Kathy Romero. But right now, I wish y'all could see the junk on my desk. There's a Snickers right here. So it's pretty bad. I want to know, when your children are the age that you are now, what do you hope for them to say about you as their mom?
That I was their mom genuinely,
Hmm. That's
you
good.
know,
That gave me a
that I
chill.
was a mom, that I was a mom, that I was there for them, that I made space for them. And I want them to just think about the smiles and the laughter and the craziness that I always try to infuse in our exchanges. That's really what I want them to say, is that I was a mom. Because I feel sometimes as parents, we get lost in a lot of things. And I know from experience, and I'll share this with you. I've always said, I'm taking care of my mom now. I'm her caretaker, and I said that before. But I always felt as if I was so responsible as a child, where I almost felt like I was partially a parent too. Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense to you? It's so weird.
You and a whole bunch of people listening, I'm sure, felt like they had to be the parent or had to step up to help raise younger siblings or had to be present when usually, typically, that's an adult thing. But I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean there.
No, like I didn't have any siblings. I was an only child for a very long time. And then I went off to college and my mom got pregnant. So that says something. So, you know, you know, um, but it was interesting. My mom has always been that kind of person that has been very shy about different things and also just counted on me for, I guess, the lack of a better word, the fact that I was so outgoing as a child too. And I literally would ask questions, doctors, anybody, I would ask questions as a child. And I feel like she left a lot of things up to me.
Yeah. And again, I'm sure there are people listening like, yep, that was my life and still is in some cases. A friend and I were just talking
Here
about
I
that.
am.
Yeah, still am in some capacity. And so you are very well traveled. What has been your favorite place that you have traveled so far?
My favorite place that I have traveled so far might be Chantilly in France.
Fancy. Okay.
Mhm.
Never heard of
Might
it.
be yeah, it's just exactly that, because it's a very small, almost like countryside, but not country kind of location, where there's cobblestone streets, and it's just a very small number of people.
Hmm.
It's got a great museum, and it's got small boutique hotels, but it's a perfect place.
That is, I love that. I love that. It sounds like it has charm and very quaint. And I think that's awesome.
It does, and that's really why I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Career wise, what has been one of your most proudest moments?
Career wise, I feel as if my proudest moment was when I launched the KR Planner Collective.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, that was my proudest moment.
My next question for you is, what is a misconception that people have about you?
Well, that's a good one. You know why? I think a misconception that people have about me is that I always have to be like made up, toweled up, or whatever. And most of the times I'm in yoga pants and stretchy stuff and sweatpants and something warm.
Right. No, we're very similar where when we show up, we do have everything, makeup and all that, because we still like that stuff. But at home, I'm in a robe and some yoga pants and some slippers.
Oh, if you would have seen me how I went to UPS yesterday, you I always say, if somebody catches me out here, I had my pajama pants and I had like a Kathy Romero hoodie, and I legit looked like
You
I
let,
was homeless.
you let people know. See, I'm not putting my name on the hoodie and then going out. I don't want to be affiliated with me in that capacity. No, I don't want you to know it's me. Uh, you've met a lot of people on your journey. So
Yeah.
my question is, if you could meet anyone in the world or work with someone, who would it be?
If I could meet anyone in the world or work with someone, this you probably gonna think I'm crazy, but I think I would love to be in a room one day with Eckhart Tolle.
Really? It's
Yeah,
Oprah's homie. Yeah.
like he's just some a brilliant mind, and I feel as if um not only is he a brilliant mind, but he has this innate ability to just create zen and just sort of like create that particular moment, like bring you to that moment. And I do a lot of my guided meditations, and I do a lot of things with his on his platform, and I feel as if I could meet him, it would be something amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, that sounds like someone right up your alley because he definitely is all about the meditation, positivity,
Yeah.
yoga-ish life. Yes. So I want to know, what is your guilty pleasure?
Oof, sugar.
Oh my gosh, you and me both.
That's my guilty pleasure. And and I have to be careful, because even though I'm dairy free and I eat all of the vegan stuff and everything else, that's sometimes even worse in terms of sugar and things like that. But I need to control myself when it comes to sugar. It's like, and when I start, I can't stop. It's one of those things. It's either it's not like, oh, let me have a slice of cake. No, it's like, oh, okay, like how can I cut this cake so I can give you a piece and I can keep the rest, And then ice cream I'm horrible. I'm the worst. And
Listen,
again, I buy all dairy free stuff, but it makes no difference. It still has sugar, and it's horrible for you. And I know it. And that's sort of like my thing that I wish that I could be more disciplined about. And it is the one habit that I cannot kick.
that you and me both. I'm a self-proclaimed sugar addict. And before I was like, I was unapologetic about it, but now that I'm getting older, I'm like, I need to get my life together because this is bad. It's bad for your skin. It's bad for the outside and the inside.
It is, but you know what? I'm very controlled with it. but I do know that that's my guilty pleasure. Like I will have something sweet on a Wednesday and on a and like Sundays for Sunday dinners. But I will have a lot of it. It's not like I'm gonna have like a slither, you know what I mean? So since those are the 2 days that I more or less fall off the bandwagon, then I'm having them.
You going hard in the pit. You just like whatever.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So Kathy, this has been so much fun. And I just thank you for your time and hanging out with me and our listeners. And so last question is, where may our well-rounders find you on the web, social media, and all of that?
Amazing. So thank you for having me. I do appreciate this time and everything, that we do as sisters and as industry, just peers and things like that. I really do appreciate. So for you to have me on this platform to talk to your listeners is actually an honor and a pleasure. And so they can find me on kathyromero.com. And also most of my times I'm on Instagram all the time, pretty much. That's really where I communicate with a lot of my followers. I do have a Facebook page, same thing, Kathy. And Twitter very seldomly, but if they wanted to, it's the Kathy Romero. And that's pretty much it.
Last thing, because I know you're working on some amazing things. What can we expect coming out of the Kathy Romero corner in the next couple of weeks?
Oh my God. I think I'm going a little bonkers trying to create for the end of the year, trying to help people set themselves up for the new year and looking forward to just helping people understand where they're going. And my collective is coming up. It's the KR Planner Collective, and I'll be launching that today, and all the information will be either on my Instagram or people can actually go directly to my website and click, on the education side of things. Mm-hmm. I also have a small workshop coming up that is not the collective, and that'll be coming out in December, which is a smaller kind of course, and it's more like a 2-hour webinar kind of thing, but it's going to be amazing too. And that's for people that just want to do a certain thing, a certain specialty. And then next year, I'm actually going to be launching, or not next year, at the end of the year, I'll be launching a challenge that I hope a lot of people can join me with, and we can get things started for the new year.
That is awesome.
I get so excited about talking about everything. I'm like, yeah.
It's so good. Like really, really good. Yes. So such good content coming out of your camp. So a lot to look forward to. I'll link everything in the show notes so that you guys have access to it. Thank you, Kathy, for spending some time with me and our well-rounders today. We know you're crazy busy, so it just means so much to me that you have carved out some time to hang with me. And so friends, be sure to subscribe to the show, leave us a 5-star rating and a quick review in Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to check out those show notes and also the podcast, our website, wellroundedlifepodcast.com, for all things well-rounded and information that Kathy shared with us today. So until next time, stay safe, stay positive, and focus on what matters most. Bye.
Yay!
Friends, thanks for kicking it with us this week. Remember to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode airs. I'd love it if you leave us a review and share this goodness with your squad. Until next time, seek a well-rounded life and remember to focus on what matters most.